Hello. Hello, good morning, Dr. Diana, and everyone on this platform today. I hope you can hear me well in case of any glitches.
You are audible. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Diana. My name is Haji Yasin Bakalwa. I'm the CEO of Bakalwa Property Services. They say an upper day will keep away the doctor. I don't know how many apples I had to miss because today I think I'm landing in too many doctors. So I know I'm safe today. Dr. Diana and all the organizers, thank you for inviting me. And I'm always privileged to tell my story. I'm not an early person, but today I've said actually I have to be there because every time I have a chance to motivate someone, every time I have a chance to tell my story, I know somehow, somewhere, I'm making someone's life better. I went in the UK in 2001 as a young boy. I was 19 years, and I started looking for jobs. Here today, what we have is the youth which gets out of the university. They think of what to do. And the whole problem is everyone is scratching their heads. They're asking themselves, what are we going to do? How does someone make it in life? Someone goes to school, they graduate, and after the graduation, they are starting to make connections. And as usual, our first connections are with relatives, friends. 1 year goes, the second one goes, and someone is still struggling to find their feet. They don't know what to do. That is my story. It is your story. There's nothing to it. I did that for many years in the beginning, and I was wondering, how does someone make it in life? How do you make it? How do you become rich? And I think everyone on this forum is asking themselves that, because I don't think many of us are rich already. I got my first job as a security guard. And being that I was from Uganda, getting 54 pounds a day was a blessing to me. Many people were earning way higher than what I was earning. 54 pounds by then was totally minimum wage in the UK. And today people are so surprised when they hear my story, when they hear my name. They just look at me as a billionaire. But many people have come in the last minute of the movie. They're idolizing, oh, this guy has made it, oh, he's still young, this and that. You know, stories going around. And I think, Dr. Diana, you must be one of them, just like how Haja's made it. But there is a big story behind what happens in someone's life. My job is to tell entrepreneurs, it is to tell young people how to set their lives if they want to make it in life. When people get out of the education system, their first thing to do is to get a job. And I don't know what happens into their heads. I think people just think that, okay, now I've got a job, 9 to 5, I'm going to get rich. They do it today, they do it tomorrow. Doing it, they already know the predicted salary they are going to be getting. And I don't know what happens. They just think that they are going to get rich somehow. But doctor and all the people listening to me now, there's much people have to learn in life. If you're going to start making money in this world, you just not need to start working simply just for the sake of working. You need to work on yourself. You need to work on yourself. I started a construction company 2 years ago. but it's now a multi-billion entity. And in Uganda, you can ask yourselves, how many people have construction companies? Definitely, there are many. But what makes me different? Before I started doing what I did, I realized that it's not actually what you do, it is you as a person. So before you start doing whatever you want to do, I encourage people to first work on themselves. People don't deal with people, they don't deal with ideas, they deal with who is behind the idea. I started a construction company, and I know it very well that if you want to prosper anywhere in the world, you just need to look for a problem and you become a problem solver. When I came from the UK, I had many people having their stories of people back here in Uganda, relatives, friends. When they send them money, money doesn't reach the right destination. It doesn't serve the purpose. So I knew that my selling point had to be a truthful person. Forget about the construction because everyone can construct down here. Everyone knows how to construct. Those who say that they are in the construction field. So I say to myself, I have to sell myself as a truthful person. When someone sends me money, it's just to give them confidence that I'm going to deliver. And that is so rare. So this is a message, especially to the young people on this forum. Today, we have to understand that our strength is technology, and technology works in predictable way. We the millennials, we the people of today, we are feeding our minds with nothing from morning to night. We are feeding ourselves with nothing but apart from what we are reading from the internet, what we are getting from our phones. And as we are dealing with people, it is not people have feelings. People, they need to understand who they are talking with. And people, when they are using their phones, they don't get real ideas because the phones are already predictable. Dr. Diana, are you there? Hello?
Hello? Yes, we are
Yes,
there.
yes, I'm.
Hello? Oh, actually, for the moment, I thought I was off because I'm used to engaging people when I'm giving my presentation. So when I start talking to myself and no one is answering back, I tend to think that I'm already off the line.
We are there, Haji.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. So now,
Welcome.
Dr. Diana, uh, I want to give ideas to the young people who are on this forum, and this is how I start. Don't don't neglect the 9 to 5 jobs. There's no way I'm going to tell you that you're going to get capital anywhere if you're not inheriting it. No, you have got to go out there, get yourself a job. But as you get a job, don't be imprisoned. That is the first thing. Don't be imprisoned by titles. If you're given a supervisory position, if you're a doctor like Dr. Diana here, don't be imprisoned by the first thing you get. Dr. Diana, you can do business, you can be anything else. Today, tomorrow, just make sure that tomorrow your aim is today your aim is to be better tomorrow. So as you get a job, try to make the savings. Try to make the savings. The other time when I was making my presentation, I told people that every time you are paid. Make sure that it is mandatory that you save the 10%. 10% of your salary should be saved. And this should be purposeful. Remember, anyone must have what they call a target. Because in life, when you don't have a target, it means that you can follow anything in this world and you cannot hit a target you don't have. People live their lives from the day they start working just for the purpose of working. But for a person who knows where they are going, definitely they have to know what they are going to do in a week, what they are going to be doing in a month, and a month will make a year. 1 year will make 5 years. 5 years will make 10 years. 10 will make 20, 30, and that is a life. So if you fail planning for a month, it means definitely that you're going to fail planning for a year. You fail for a year, you fail for 10. Fail for 10, you fail for life. It has to be purposeful. Now, you start off, let me say a person like me. I went to the UK. I was definitely corrupted positively by my dad, who was in real estate. Everything I wanted to do was about construction. So I went deeper to find the constructor in me, the builder in me. But remember, this field we are dealing in is very expensive. You can imagine putting up a structure and you need 200 million or 300 million. Definitely, you don't have that money. But with the right strategy and knowing that everything tangible, everything reasonable has got to take time, definitely you start off. But along the way, don't forget that as you wait for 10 years, something called life happens. And what is life? Life is getting a job, getting a partner, paying rent, buying clothes, having a baby, one or two. These things are all beautiful. That's life. That's life. But if you are not strategical, if you don't have a target to hit, much as I say that those things are beautiful, you are going to be diverted along the way. Peer pressure is all around us. We are all trying to keep up with the Jones. My neighbor bought a car. They are doing renovation. My friend bought a new phone. So what happens? These are small things which keep us off the track. Now, when I started doing this job, earlier on, I told you that I was earning a minimum wage as a security guard. What I did, I bought the smallest apartment because I knew that I was a foreigner. I never forgot my story. I knew I went to work, not to live in the UK. Most people, when they live here and they go to the UK, they go there they have got that mentality. We came from rags. These are riches. We have made it. And they start living a life. After 5, 10 years, they start getting stressed. Why? They forgot their mission in the first place. They forgot why they went there. And so they just live a day-to-day life without a target. What happens? It is stress. Because in life, if you're not growing, you are definitely dying. Whatever is not growing, it's dying. And if you're not moving anywhere, if your life is so predictable, there's nothing left apart from stress. But in my small world as a security guard, every penny I got, because I had a target, starting up a real estate, having something back home here, I saw a bag of cement. I saw a few bricks. So there was no way I was going to spend 50 pounds in shopping or going out. And I kept tab. I always knew what was happening back here. By then, I think plots here in Sasi, Chanja were about 3 million. We could easily get that money in the UK if you were disciplined enough. Now, I started making my saving here. And actually, people who knew me were like, okay, he has worked for, all right, 1 year, 2 years. Forget about him. Forget about what he's trying to do. After 5 years here, everyone gives up. He will just go and start living a life after 5 years. But I want to tell everyone here that I never gave up to what I wanted. In the UK, I never bought a sofa of seats. All I did, I always tell people this, that I kept on picking used sofas, used furniture from the road. The only thing I think I bought new was a TV. And to be honest with you, I never renovated my house. And I had relatives who used to come to my house, and you know how people are like. They used to talk about me, and especially the carpet in my bedroom was awful. Someone came in and they took a photo of it, and I realized that they were sharing it because back here home, people were talking about me as someone who was prospering, someone who was making something sensible. And for them to prove to them that actually I was a nobody, I'm not that rich, they had to send them that picture just to show them how filthy my carpet was. It was hurtful, but I never changed course. I knew exactly what I wanted. And in 2005, thank God I had a set of twins. I had a small car by then, and I realized that my expenditures were going to go high. I got rid of the car. My missus asked me what we are going to do, and I told her, listen, the transport system here is good. We have got, the family is getting bigger. I have to be technical. Somehow I have to cut down our expenditures. By then, it didn't make much sense. But at the back of my mind, I always wrote things down. I knew what I wanted. And for 15 years, the next 15 years, we never had a car until I left the UK. It was so painful for me when I saw everyone on our close having a beautiful car they used to change. And my kids were growing up without even knowing what they call a car. The only time they had to sit in a car was when one of our friends came around and maybe they had to take us somewhere. And during Eid, when we go for prayers, I used to go and hire a car for a day. So that was life. That was life. But it was a principled life. Even my missus at one point, she wanted to give up on me because she found me stingy. Looking at what we had built back here, she was like, okay, life is short. We need to start living. We need to do this and that. But I had the plan. I had everything written down. I had the mathematics, and I wasn't ready to be influenced at all by anyone. You can drive all the beautiful cars, you can go to all the holidays, but I had seen my life in years. I knew exactly where I wanted to be, and I had started loving it since day one. I knew the plan, I had worked it out, and I had a timetable because it is said that any dream without a deadline is just a mere dream. And I didn't want my dream just to be a mere dream. I wanted it to be meaningful. I knew if I remained in there, if I was tenacious enough, if I was persistent enough, at one point, I was definitely going to get what I wanted. This dream did not make any meaning to anyone who was looking at my life, knowing what I had back home here. But you know what? It made meaning to me. I didn't want it to make meaning to anyone. It was my dream, and I was holding it dearly. And when I started coming back here, I I was so fascinated by what was going on. I remember I used to go to Munyonyo, I used to go to Buziga to find out what people were doing, new forms of construction. I had built around 16 rentals, what we call mizigo here, sitting room and a bedroom. Most of them were paying me 200. And by then I thought I had made it in life until when I saw people who were earning around 500,000 in what we call Chisenge deal. And I was like, okay, right. From today, I think I need to upgrade. There's one thing with us Africans, when we see someone who has done better than us, instead of coming closer to them, there's a way we feel envious. We just don't want to associate with them. I don't know for what reasons, but I think maybe you think they make you look bad. But I never wore that attitude. Never. I went close to such people and I started, getting information from them. I wanted to know how they do it. And I remember I spoke to one gentleman who told me how he was getting his finishing equipment from China and how it was done. You see, when you have a good personality, when you wish good for others, when you know how to present yourself to other people, there's a way you can get what you want. I got the information, which is the best commodity if you want to succeed. Now, I was told that, yes, you have property, but that's not the best you can. But remember, there are other people who are not very good when it comes to when it comes to this field. What you do, they are interested in small buildings like the one you have. You can sell off yours and do something better because of the experience you have got. I looked at it inside and out, and it made sense to me. My first plot, which I bought in 2001, I bought it for 6.2 million. This was now around 12 years gone. I tried putting it on the market and I was so shocked when someone told me that it was above 150 million. Actually, this is why I tell people to always believe in time if you want to succeed. And at least true wealth, you have to wait for around 10 years if you want to make something sensible. I sold off this piece of land and I went to a place called Kulambiro. Oh, no, sorry, I beg your pardon. I went to a place called Komambuga and I bought a piece of land for 35 million. I started constructing something better than what I had. I was using some of my money I was getting from my salary, which wasn't too much. And I managed to put up 10 units. By the time I finished these 10 units, because of the passion I had for construction, I made sure that I gave it my best. I was in love with those houses. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't explain how surprised I was when someone came to me and they were in love with those houses and they wanted to offer me 820 millions. I was just a security guard who has just managed to do this because I believed in time. I had principles. I was persistent and I loved what I did. And by then, to be honest with you, I was old school. I believed in having rentals and keep my money. That is it, and that's what my dad used to do. I said no. I said no. My brains were not open enough. I boarded my plane and I went back to the UK. I started working, and after 1 year, I came back. There were some people who were in that field. I knew them, they were my friends. They had gone like 10 times way better than me. And these people started way later than me. And I realized that actually there was something I wasn't doing. I wasn't doing right. I was so consumed with my paycheck. They were paying me £2,000 by now in the UK, and I thought that was a lot of money. It was around 80 million by then. And when I came back here, I saw my friends. They were becoming billionaires within 2 years, and I said, okay, I need to find out all the information I need. This is one thing you also have to do in whatever you want to do. Find out the information, all the information you need. Don't simply just follow. Don't simply just follow. I went ahead and I accepted my next offer. And by now I was desperate because I knew all the information I needed to go into selling and buying. I got an offer from someone who took that estate, and what I did with the next one, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I started 3 sections of units, and when the buyer came in, beautiful as they were, they offered me 1.5 within a short period of time. And that was breathtaking. I said to myself, I think I'm doing something good here. Because if I can go back to the UK, work as a security guard, get £80 a day, and I come back here, I do something worth 1.5, there must be something I'm doing right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be rich, wealth is not something, it's not piling coins. You need a strategy. But remember, baby steps are vital. But don't make your walk remain in baby steps. Baby steps are very vital, but as you're walking along the way, make sure that you pick up the speed. At this point, I needed to pick up the speed. I was fascinated by what I was doing, but now I was beginning to dream bigger. I went somewhere in Chanja. I bought a piece of land. I had my connections. Uh, I remember there's a boy called Twaha. He's a truck driver. He came to my place and he told me about a piece of land being sold by the family. Myself, I want to associate with low people. They are the guys who normally have all the deals. And if you make yourself friendly, whatever they get, they'll always come to you. And when I sold off when I sold off that property, I managed to get a half an acre in Chanja. I remember I bought it for 316 million. I feel some pride, some sense of pride when I say that 360. By then, doing the job I was doing, to be talking about that kind of money, it was brilliant. And I went to an architect and we made a plan of 35, no, there were 34 apartments. I remember speaking to my close circles, and everyone was discouraging me. They saw how big the project was. I said, okay, now I need to go back to my principles. I don't need to share this with everyone. I sat down and I started doing my mathematics. Somehow I knew that if I live in my comfort zone, if I do what exactly fits what I have, I wasn't going to stretch myself. And I really needed to stretch. When I made my calculations, I was still falling short. I went to the bank, put my money there, and I went back in the UK. I think I worked for 1 year. I took it up a bit and I said, okay, now it's a do or die. I have to go back to Uganda and follow my dream. And I managed to construct 35 apartments in Chanja. I used to wake up 6 in the morning, go to the site, sit there, count my cement, do everything just to be included in the whole process. And I had burnt all the bridges behind me. I said to myself, I need to leave the UK. This is my breaking point now. I have to make it. It reached a point where I saw that I wasn't going to make it, but I knew I had to make it. And luckily enough, I managed to do so. And when the work came out, when people learned of what I had done, no one believed it, especially people in the diaspora, people I used to work with. I was working with one Ghanaian, one Senegalese, and a Nigerian. We had one British person as well. Uh, when I showed them my project, we were earning the same salary. Actually, some of them earned more than what I was earning. They could not believe at any point that it was mine. But what made the difference here, we were different people. We were living different lives. We had different dreams, different targets, but we're all earning the same amount of money. I think that is the same video which Dr. Diana saw in 2009. I remember going back in the UK, they hosted me to one of the radios. And after the talk show, the presenter took me to the side and said, you know what, I'm the one of the guys who saw your video. And I said to myself and those around me that there's no way that guy is a security guard. There's no way he can say that he didn't take a loan or do a deal. And I said to him, Isma, sit down and I'll explain to you once again my story. This is what I did. I started off with this. And I told him of the story in 2009. I had a friend of mine called Billy. Billy was starting a 2-bedroomed house, and I went to help him out as a porter, for free, because Billy used to allow me go into his video hall for free. I remember by then we used to pay 200 shillings, but I didn't have that. So for me to pay him back, I said, I'm going to help you out as a porter. And he, during the construction, I said to him, Billy, how does someone make it in life? How do you start having 10,000, later on 20, maybe 500,000, because I think by then he had 500,000 to start off that project. And years later, here I was holding billions, and I had structures. Every time I look at them, I was like, am I the one who constructed this? But then I look back at my story, and I know actually it is not by accident. This is me. I deserve it. I remember in 2019, my mom was fighting to take me to the UK, and she sold half of her land in Namugongo, and a certain conman in the city stole the money. The day we found out about that, she was crying, and she was having this running stomach. She kept on going to the toilet, coming back, cry. And then we were talking about it. We kept quiet for some time. And afterwards, she said to me, Yasin, lumu ojja kunyumiza abantu story eno, ojja kugamba ebyaliwo balowooze nti onyumya bunyumya, olowooze nti banyumya lugero. Which means one day you tell this story that we had nothing to eat at home, and people will think that you are just making up stories. That thing, after 20 something years, today, wherever I go, whenever, whatever platform I'm on, I always say that story. And some people find it like it's just a mere thing I'm just talking about. But it happened in real life. At one point, we had nothing. And when I wake up today and I see what I've managed to do, I believe in principles. I believe in people who have managed to find themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, especially people who are still in their 20s on this forum, your life is set way earlier than what you think. If you misuse your 20s, if you don't fight so hard to find out who you are in your early 20s, know that you are going to start being desperate in your 30s. And when you reach your 40s, you are going to start being a problem for everyone. And for those in the 50s, I don't know what to say, but I'll just leave it at that. Everyone in your 20s, that's when you meet your spouse. Your spouse is very vital in who you're going to be. In your 20s, that's when you want to try out anything you want to try out, alcohol you want to try out, going out in discos at night, trying out drugs, trying out all the partners you can. But remember that everything we do in life, at one point, it has got its repercussions. You can choose in life to be an example or a warning. I chose to be an example. I chose that I wanted to be a family man. I chose that I wanted to be a businessman, and that there was no one to help me achieve that. Actually, it takes, I read a quote a few days ago that people take half of their lives to find out that life is 100% their responsibility. Those ones, especially in the 20s who are here, if you can understand from the word go, it doesn't matter whether your parents are around, it doesn't matter whether you come from a rich family, it doesn't matter whether you have got the education, it doesn't matter. But the moment you understand that life is 100% your responsibility, and you tune into a channel of doing right things from the word go in your early years. Trust me, the world has got nothing to give you back but exactly what you want. And by the time you reach your 30s, you should be able to understand who you're going to be. There are just a few things which can show us what we are going to be. You can start off by looking at your 5 close friends. Those are examples of who you're going to be. You can start off by hello.
This is
Hello.
Edith, this is Edith, your host. I request that you summarize. We are running short of time.
Oh, I can see it's 6 minutes. Oh yes, Judith, thank you so much. I was saying that look at your 5 friends around you, and to be more precise, looking just go back and look at the last 5 phone calls you made. The last 5 phone calls you made. Look into your phone book and look at the contacts you have. Look at your last dial before you start blaming the government, before you start blaming everyone around you, because our society, our generation is the victimized one. We always find reasons as to why we cannot make it in life. But as I summarize, I want to tell everyone here that your life is 100% your responsibility, and no one is coming to your rescue. Thank you so much.
Your humbleness, your resilience, it is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you very much for sharing. You picked a lot from your story. It is
Thank you
important.
so much.
Everybody should
Actually,
know.
Judith, just a moment for me.
Yes, please.
Let me take this opportunity to inform everyone here that more of my videos, they can go to my Facebook page, Bakaluba Property Services. There's a lot of educational videos I've made there. I think they can pick something from that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that additional information. I'm sure everybody here will be able to look out for that and get more information from you. It has been wonderful. We've picked so many lessons. What is important is somebody to know that 100% of your life is your responsibility. It is important to identify a problem and you provide a solution. Being truthful and many other things that you've talked about. I know people have many questions to raise. We appreciate everybody logged on here. I can see we have Mr. and Mrs. Chama Fred logged on from California, others from California, and many others who are here. I know we have so many questions, so allow me to invite Mr. Nasa Wangubo to take us through Q&A so that we can raise some questions and you respond. Mr. Nasa Wangubo, please.
Thank you, Dr. Edith Basaliba, for inviting me to manage the Q&A. Thank you to all the entrepreneurs who have managed to log on. Thank you for choosing us to nurture you to become that entrepreneur you ever dreamed of. We are here to serve to your purpose. I would begin with a few quotes from our presenter. Our presenter, in his presentation, he made a few quotes that are so inspirational. And one of them is, anything that is not growing is dying. Baby steps in your entrepreneurship journey is not a mistake. However, maintaining such pace is a mistake. Life is 100% your responsibility. You have to pick up yourself. No one will ever come to your rescue. If you live a predictable life, you will end up, the end result is stress. Will you say your day is not done? Definitely, you gave us our take home. And I would like to appreciate you for having accepted to join us, for having given us such inspirational talk. I would like to thank our dear director, Dr. Diana Nandagire Untamu, for spotting such a potential speaker. Indeed, you are the right person to be hosted today. I would like to dive into our Q&A. And when I go through our Q&A, we have a few questions. I will read three questions and give you the opportunity to answer. We have one from Mr. Kefa Amanjuru. He says, thank you, Haji Sekimwani, for sharing your inspirational entrepreneurial journey. As an entrepreneur, what would you say was your lowest moment, and what important lessons did you draw from that experience? What would you say was your lowest moment, and what important lessons did you draw from that experience? We have another one from Mr. Wandiata, Nathan. He says he is a student running a service business, and his question to you, Haj, is how best can one expand his or her customer base? The third one is from Mr. John Isaac. He says, Haj, when you went back to the UK after getting a bank loan, how much were you earning and saving for your construction project in Uganda? Haji, I suggest you take on those three, then we'll come for another round.
Thank you so much. The first one was what was your lowest point? Actually, I'm just going to tell you a small incident. It was unfortunate to me. It's not actually business related, but there's a point which somehow changed my mind. It was a Saturday morning, going to work, and the whole building was closed. Thinking that there was no one in the building, I put on TV. I was enjoying it at at the maximum, at the maximum volume, not knowing that one of the directors were in. This guy called Jost, Josh Horst. He came out. I knew, what had gone around, that he was a racist, and he came into my face, and I had put down the volume. And he was like, "Why did you have to put that volume so high?" I said to him, "Because there was no one in the building and I was by myself." He said, "Why would you do that? Are you deaf?" I said to him, "No, I'm not." "So why was it so high?" I said, "I'm sorry, Mr. David." He said, "No, it's not Mr. David, it's Yost. Is that how you say it in Africa? It is the surname to go." And, he was being racist, to cut a long story short. This guy stood in front of me, and the way he belittled me, he reminded me that I was a security guard, black guy from Africa. And you could see that it wasn't about the volume. It was about, him disliking black person. I was so hurt. And I remember the following day when I was coming to work, I was walking in a walkway. There was a white lady coming my side, and she had to cross the road to go the other side. I've never felt racism. Uh, Something in me changed a bit. Changed a bit. I was so annoyed with this guy every time I went to work. I used to look at him. I don't know if I had the chance to slap him. I'm sorry to say, I think I could have done it. I could have done it. That is how pissed off I was. But somehow I said, you know what? This is not me. I have to do better. Much as they say they are right here, I have to better myself. I told my wife. I told my wife about that story. I remember when I came back. To be honest with you, I cried a little bit when I went back home, and she made me a full tub of water. And I laid in there just to stress off. I can't remember. I can't forget such an incident, because as I sat in there, I was so emotional. I don't know why it hit me so bad. But it was a point I said to myself that, you know what, whatever I do in life, I'm not going to end up like this. I have to do better. So that is a point which was so negative, and I committed myself to making it positive. And without any doubt, I knew after years I managed to turn it around. The next question was, how do you expand your customer base? I think I spoke about this last week. I told people that there's a secret which is unsaid in society of people who have made it in life. Everyone who makes it in life, they never say it to people. But every time I say it, I tend to whisper it. I don't say it in a loud voice because it doesn't sound that good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it to you, and I want you to understand it. In life, people who make it financial wise, there was one trick they have understood. Life is an imprisonment of others. Where I was working, we had directors, we had partners, we had supervisors, we had security guards, we had cleaners. Okay, the director could get like $1 million. Partners used to get like 50 or 100. I'm talking about pounds. Myself as a security guard, I used to get 2,000, and then cleaners used to get 1,500, around that range. But the system was working, and when we were taking out confidential waste, I'm sorry to say this, I happened to look at one of the pay slips of one of the directors, and I saw what someone was earning in a month. That was something I needed to work for at least 5 years, but I was doing more hours than what this person was doing. And I tried to work out how it works. I couldn't say that I was suffering. I was getting something definitely, getting around 10 million was a lot of money. But then I realized that there was, there were steps. There were steps. There were different categories in life. Everyone was using the other to make the system work. The director was making the partners work. The partners were making the supervisors work. The supervisors were making the juniors work. And then there were the security guards and there were the cleaners. But all in all, we were all serving the same system. And so, how does it work? This is how it works. I gave a small example of someone who goes in the village and gives someone 1,000 shillings. Look at their face. Look at how excited they look when you give them 1,000 shillings. And ask yourself, if someone gave me this 1,000 shillings, will I be this happy? Probably won't even, take another look at it, put it somewhere, or maybe in the pocket and forget about it. So something little might mean something so big to someone. It depends on who we are talking about. Now, you have a small business. I normally use mobile money. If you go in the village, a mere person I use at the site, I pay them 35,000 in a day. If such people are principled enough to save 15,000 a day, and they work around 20 days, how much are we looking at? That is almost 600, if I'm not mistaken. No, it is 300. It is 300. My mathematics is wrong. Now, if someone can be able to save that and go somewhere in the village, get someone who's excited getting 1,000, just 1,000 shillings, bring them in the city. Okay? Just get them a small mattress. Even it doesn't matter, you don't need to have a big room. Give them a small mattress. They sleep somewhere. And you start a mobile money store. Or something like a small market for them. Remember, 1,000 shillings is a lot to them. You teach them exactly what they have to be doing. You promise them something small. You see, this is what exactly developed countries are doing. People who understand the economy, this is exactly what they are doing. It is exploiting others, but in a good way. They are, those ones who you think are exploited, they're still happy. They're getting what you want. That's why you see people are leaving here to go to Qatar and work. Why are the natives not doing the security guarding we are doing, or the construction? It's because their way of life is way higher. But you, as a foreigner, when you come in and they're paying you 1 million or 1.5, it is a lot. So initially, that is how the economy should be working. The little you get someone who can be excited with the very, very little, but you have to pay them. in their own world, it means something. Now, you bring someone, if you have 1 million, you start maybe something like fruit stool or mobile money. If such a person can make for you 5,000, only 5,000, it can be even be a chapati stool, Rolex, something like that. If you can get that somebody, they are reliable, you train them, one person, it means after 3-4 months, you can get another person. You bring them in, they do the same thing, you train them, you don't need to take much from them. All I'm talking about is 5,000 or 2,000. At the end of the day, if you can have 10 or 20 of such people, you train them on how to do. You start earning what they call passive income. Such things need a lot of supervision, a lot of understanding, and it is also risk taking because remember, at the end of the day, we are dealing with people, and human beings can change anytime, but that cannot stop you. In that way, I don't know whether I've tried to explain to you that it is kind of a formula someone needs to apply to multiply. You need somehow to think extraordinarily if you want to be extraordinary. We are living in a society where everyone is following the follower. People don't think outside the box, but this world is now set for people who can be able to see things slightly different from the way other people see things. As I try to summarize this, I'm going to use 30 seconds to tell you a small story, just a small one. There was a guy who used to work in a certain company, and he was the timekeeper. Every time he used to go past a jewelry shop, he used to look at one of the clocks there, and he adjusts his watch. He used to do it every morning. One day he found the owner of that shop standing outside cleaning, and the owner of the shop asked him, Let me ask you a question. Why do you always stop at my shop and adjust your watch?" The guy told him, "Listen, I am the one who blows the whistle in that company. So every time I pass here, because this is a jewel shop, I have to make sure that my time is on point. So I make sure that I adjust it based on your clock." So the owner of the shop looked in a moment, he was surprised a bit and said, "Phew, you know what? I don't know what to say." And he said, "Why?" "Because every time before I leave my shop, I make sure that I adjust my watch, my clock with that whistle you blow. So I always set my clock based on that whistle because you are, you have many people. I knew you take all the precautions you have to do to make sure that you get the time right." So if you look at this story, everyone was following the other without questioning. We have got many people who are doing things without thinking, and they end up having the same results. A mind is a very powerful machine, but you will be amazed to find out how many of us don't use it at all. We just go out always trying to get advice from others who just tell us about their history, but we don't sit down to think, to know whether it fits into our lives, to see whether it is applicable, to see whether it is exactly what we want. So to expand your customer base, you need, first of all, to understand what you're doing, what you need. But at least I've told you a formula that whatever you do, don't remain solo. try to multiply, try to engage others, try to employ, try to get other slaves. And the last question was, how much of a loan did you get by the time you went back to the UK? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell everyone that in my life, I've never taken a loan. Up to date, I don't have a single loan. I didn't have a loan. That was my money. I sold off. I got from selling off my property. I think the gentleman, I don't know, I can't remember whether it was a lady or a gentleman, missed out maybe something from my story. But the money I had is something I got from my salary. I came in here, started investing it, selling off property, buying, and then constructing. I knew the game. I knew what I wanted. Thank you.
Thank you, Haji Sekimwani, for ably answering those questions.
Yeah.
What I would like to tell you that we have very many questions in the Q&A for you. And in the interest of time, we can't exhaust them. I'm going to read out 2 more questions so that you answer them, and I hand over back to our moderator. We have one from Dr. Ahmed Walugembe. He is asking, you have benefited from the diaspora model. It gave you a startup capital as a security guard. What is your view on the increasing young men and women going to the Middle East? Do we need to curb it, and how? Or it is an opportunity for them? Another question is, Haji, how did you manage dependents who think that people who travel abroad become their problem solvers financially? Haj, I would like you to answer those, and I hand over back to our moderator.
Thank you so much for the beautiful questions. Now, for the people who are going in the Middle East, let me tell you, an opportunity is anywhere. It can be here, it can be in the Middle East. I've seen Chinese who come here with very little capital. And when they start working here, 2-3 years, what they have, if you look at their capital, it is something someone born, bred here cannot have. People have sold off their parents' property, what they have inherited. They have bought borders, they have bought cars, and in the end, they have ended up with nothing. But the question here, what causes that? What causes that? That someone may have an opportunity and they have nothing in the end. Whatever they have goes out. Essentially, it's not the idea. It is not the opportunity. It is the brains. If someone goes to Middle East, that is fine. If someone stays here, that is fine. If you can do something which gives you 1 million shillings, you're already good to go. But the problem is in the mind. It is in the mind. We have got people who have gone in the Middle East, they have got jobs. These jobs, the good things about having a job, at least you have guaranteed pay. You have guaranteed pay. But the people who go there, they lack the mental understanding that they went there on a mission. Remember, we are already corrupted that people who go abroad, they have made it in life. I remember in the 90s when they used to send us pictures here. I think everyone here have got someone in their family who went abroad, and remember the excitement of seeing the pictures when they sent you having those haircuts, standing in the snow, and we all wanted to go. We all wanted to go. we thought it was paradise over there. People who are still going to the Middle East, somehow when they board the plane, well, they think that they have made it. And they want to impress, they want to show everyone back here that, I've made it. You're having a wedding. All right, I'll contribute this. I'll do this and that. So they're trying to keep face. They are forgetting that in Uganda, there are even people who are earning 10 times better than that. They start sending money here. And before you know it, they take on unnecessary responsibility. Actually, this is going to take me to my next question in a short period of time. They take on unnecessary responsibility. And in the end, they end up spending everything they have gotten. Now, the whole question was, is it prudent for someone to go in the Middle East? Hell yes, it is. If you're here and you have nothing to do, and there's somewhere in the world where they can pay you 800,000, a million, or 1.5, why not? But it is what you do with it. If you are not being mistreated, as I see in some of the videos, it is okay. Stay there, work, but remember to save your money. Remember to have a program, to have an idea, to have a plan of how you're going to be using that money. And another question, which can also have the same answer like the one I've just answered above, is how did you manage dependence? You see, I have to tell people that you need to understand where you have come from, where you are, and where you're going. In Uganda, they say, olina okumanya obuvo bwo, olina okumanya woli, olina okumanya obuddo bwo. It is a combination. If you don't understand where you're coming from, you cannot understand where you are. And if you don't understand where you are, you're definitely not going to understand where you're going. We have got people who don't understand themselves. They don't know what they want. And in the end, they are taken by the wave. And if someone who don't know their direction, no wind is favorable. Not at all. No storm is favorable because you don't have a direction. Now, you have people who go abroad or people who start making it. The moment they start making it, they start thinking that they have got to take on everyone. They start paying school fees. I mean, it's all right if it is your real responsibility. And if you are to pay it, make sure that it stays within your means. People start sending money here to contribute to weddings. They are living unpleasant life. I can tell you, people in diaspora, I was there for 19 years. Many of them live unpleasant lives. The way they live is not exactly how they dreamed. And you start giving people money, whatever they're giving you, start knowing we have this Lugambo. Who's doing this? Whoever can give you the best Lugambo, you send them. That is your friend because of boredom. And even people here, because we want to keep up with the Jones, we have to keep up, with the society. We tend to give what we have or what we don't have. But what you have, once you give it away, it means that you don't have it anymore. And that delays or destroys your process of getting rich. And we have a saying in Uganda, I keep on taking you there. I'm sorry for those who don't understand. There's a saying that if you are not well off in life, you are loved by your mom. People need to understand that when you make it in life, when you trust the process, when you respect the process and you make it in life, people will come. For me, I disassociated with the parasites, with the dependents for 19 years. It doesn't matter which names they gave me because I had a dream, because I had a target. I had to get what I wanted first. And now I went back to my relatives. Guess what? In my family, I think I'm the most known at the moment. I have I'm the closest to everyone. I'm the favorite uncle. Why? Because I'm okay. I'm okay. I did the right things at the right time. So for you out there, once you start getting what you get, please respect the process. Respect what you want. Stop giving out unnecessarily, whichever can hurt your process. If it is supposed to be for saving, save it. That person can do without you. Respect the process, make it in life. Relatives, friends, they'll always be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Haji. For those friends whose questions have not been answered, we will answer them and send them to you via your emails and other details that you have provided us in the chat.
Sure.
At this moment, I hand over to our moderator, Dr. Edith Basari.
Thank you so much, Nasa, for handling the Q&A. We appreciate you, Haji, Yasin, for the responses you've given. There's so many questions, but like Nasa has said, we'll answer them at an appropriate time and send the responses to the members who have raised them. Ladies and gentlemen, you're running short of time. We are very late, but allow me to appreciate the presenter. Let me also appreciate the MOOCs staff led by the Deputy Principal and all the other managers in MOOCs and council members. Allow me to appreciate the government officials who are logged on here. We can't mention the details because we are short of time. Allow me to appreciate all the entrepreneurs who are logged on this morning, all the Rotarians who are logged on, all our students who are logged on, and people from far and near who are logged on. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for logging on. Ladies and gentlemen, we had so many people logged on this morning. Haji, you've excited many because at the same time we had about 150 logged on. So we appreciate you. Allow me to invite our chief mentor, the principal Makerere University Business School, Professor Waswa Balunywa, to give his closing remarks before we end. Professor Waswa Balunywa, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saliba, and I want to thank our presenter, Yasin, this morning. Thank you so much for that story. Maybe because of time, we won't go into the details, but I think this is a story of perseverance, a story of vision, a story of pursuing what you want. And I hope that the entrepreneurs here have been able to benefit from this. We are in a society where, many people produce so many children but can't look after them, but they expect you to look after them. It is something that we must break at some stage. But this goes into various government policies of ensuring that everybody goes to school, everybody is funded in school. This may help us because when they take away your money as you pay school fees for them, they're taking away possibly your capital to start up businesses. And again, of course, there is this challenge of people going up abroad every day. If you go to Entebbe Airport, you'll be amazed at how many people are going out. But there is the good side of it. The good side of it is that they're going to get an income. And the good side of it is that, yes, not everybody will start a business. Yeah, the studies indicate, as you may be aware, that only 30% of Ugandans may ever or have or are in business. So the other 70% must look for employment. You rightly point out, what happens to these Indians and Chinese who come into this country and succeed? It is possible that we too can succeed in our own country. And this is what the center is doing, what MOOCs is doing, to try and organize those who are able to bring light to those people and say, look, you can start a business, you too can succeed. So I hope that these series are pointing out issues, giving lessons to people, and we are very pleased, Justine, that you are able to share this story with us and able to share your story with hundreds of people so that maybe they too can start. But you are a resilient person, I note that. You are focused, you have your vision, And I hope that some people have learned from you. Thank you very much for being with us. And may I thank everybody who's been on the call for being there, for listening. And I hope that you picked something. May God bless you all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Professor Wasabarunya, Principal MOBS. Thank you so much, our presenter today, Haji Yassin Bakalva. Thank you so much, the Director of the Entrepreneurship Center, for identifying such a wonderful person as a presenter. Thank you, everybody, for logging on this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, all the questions will be handled by the technical team and will be responding back to you. We thank you for logging in. We thank you for the time you've spent with us, and we wish you a blessed Thursday. Bye-bye for now.
You gotta get up. You gotta get